Here's the question most CEOs never let themselves ask out loud. Will my number two be there for me when I need them most? It's not about, are they loyal? We believe they're loyal. And it's not about, are they doing a good job? Because they're our most trusted employee. Of course we think they're doing a good job. And it's not, do you see a future here or on your timeline or in that role that you've imagined them to be? Most CEOs assume the answer will be yes, and they never actually ask the question. Your number two is watching you. They're watching everything you do. All those signals are being observed by that great second in command that you have. What you delegate versus what you quietly hold back, right? Whether the future gets talked about or avoided and distracted from every time it gets brought up. Whether they're being developed or just being depended on, like a great assistant that's always there for you. And whether there's a real plan that they know about or it's just a vibe. We're in it together, but never really put out there. Let me be clear, when they can't read a clear future, when they don't know the story and where their part is, how long that story will be written and whether they'll be there when you're ready to start living that story is now a question. High performers, they really don't sit well in uncertainty. They want to know where we're going, why, how it's going to come together. They want to move toward clarity. And boss, I get it. Some days we don't know all the answers, but if you're not providing that clarity, somebody else will. Your silence doesn't feel like patience to your second in command. It feels more like there's not a plan. We're stuck in reactive. And it feels like those decisions haven't even been made yet. When your number two walks, when they finally decide that this is their notice and they're out the door, whether they've given you 2 weeks notice or not, this is going to be devastating for your business. The systems that only they fully understand and help develop, the relationships that they've built on your behalf because you didn't have time, the team culture that they've been quietly holding on to, trying to make sure that they're filling in the gaps, making sure that people are being patient. Sometimes it's hard for them to take their own dose of medicine that they're sending out on your behalf. The other piece is when that second in command walks out the door, your team destabilizes. They were the rudder. They were the counterweight to you, keeping things balanced, right? So now the team is like, was there a falling out? Is this business going to be successful? Will we survive this? Can be a question. And more importantly, when you end up asking yourself, how reliant are you on this person? And when your number two walks out the door, your team's going to have questions that are all going to come at you, and you may not want them asking all those questions. Ugh, and the main part, now you're back in operator role. You were so excited, you'd handed off the day-to-day to the second in command, and they were reliable and trusted and doing it in a way that really moved the business towards the goals that you had pictured in your mind. You had this big, detailed vision. Every growth initiative that you were planning to step into just got pushed back because now you're back in the operator role. You're going to be hiring from scratch a manager level, second in command position, which is going to take time and energy. And you've got to restart building that trust so that beautiful vision, that future that you were working towards just got pushed back. And here's the painful part. This didn't just happen to you. In most cases, you played a part in it. You had a role in them walking out the door. And until you understand what that role is, it's going to keep happening, boss. But this doesn't have to be your story, so let's take a deep breath. There is a way to fix it, and it's not always about a framework or a system. This one just starts with a conversation. So here's what you can do. You can go and you can actually have a check-in with your second in command. This isn't about project status. This is a conversation about them. And when you're in that conversation, I want you to notice a few things. When you're in that conversation, I need you to notice what you think about when it comes to scheduling this. Are you nervous about having this conversation? Is there any resistance? Are you worried that there's awkwardness when it happens? Maybe you can observe. Is there awkwardness while you're sitting there with your trusted second in command? I want you to notice what you avoid saying, what you feel like you have to hold on to, what you're not ready to share yet. And then after this conversation, if you're not sure what to do with those answers, your self-awareness, now that you understand this conversation and how important it was, if you're not sure where you're supposed to go with this, then come and register for our masterclass. Don't let your second in command disappear on you. We're going to lean in and actually talk about how to deal with these questions, this kind of conversation, and the information that you identified about how you feel about the second in command disappearing. Because it doesn't have to happen that way. There's a reason this keeps happening to great CEOs, and it's not a people problem. There's a series of traps that a business owner doesn't name out loud, and they can fall through them, and it can devastate your business and slow your growth and turn that vision into dust. And I don't want that for you. So if you get through the conversation and you're not sure what to do with that information, register for this masterclass. If you're nervous about scheduling the conversation, definitely register for this masterclass, because I want you to have the vision you are planning on, the vision that you've laid out strategically in your head already. We need to make sure that you're going to have a second in command that's there when you need them. Boss on.